Welcome to the Reading Chair, Deystudio Art. I'm children's book author and illustrator Lorraine Dey. I'm going to be reading a story for you today that I hope you enjoy. But before we get to today's story, I'd like to show you my most recent release. It's available on Amazon, and you can find a link to the author's website in the box below. And now for today's reading, The Adventures of Charlie. Charlie, written by Tammy Ryan and Michael Wallace, illustrations by Lorraine Dey. Christopher was a little boy who loved helping his dad with their dogs, but he had always wanted a dog of his own. His dad had promised that one day soon, when Christopher was ready, he would have his very own puppy. He helped his dad with the dogs, so when the time came, he would know how to care for his own. One morning, Christopher's dad woke him. He was wondering why his dad woke him so early. His dad looked at him with a smile and said, "Today is the day you have been waiting for. Let's get some breakfast and go to pick up your puppy." Christopher couldn't believe it. He was so excited to make the trip with his dad to pick up the puppy that he jumped straight out of the bed to eat breakfast. He brushed his teeth, got dressed, and ran to the truck and jumped in before his dad was able to get to the truck. He was buckled up and ready to go. After a long drive, Christopher and his dad arrived at a big white house. There was a pond and a big yard, but there were no puppies anywhere. He wondered if they were at the right house, when suddenly puppies came running into the yard from inside the house. They began wrestling with one another, playing and barking. As Christopher stood with his dad smiling while watching the puppies, one of them ran right over to him and began chewing on his shoelaces. Christopher looked up at his dad and said, "Is this red one mine?" His dad said, "That's the one. That's him. He looks like a Charlie to me." "Charlie it is," said Christopher. "I like it." Christopher quickly picked up Charlie, hugging him as he was licking Christopher's face, and placed him in the truck for the ride home. He was so happy. He couldn't wait for Charlie to meet the other dogs that lived at his house. After the long drive home, Christopher took Charlie inside to see his new home. He filled the new water and food bowls they had stopped to get on the way home, and placed Charlie's new bed right beside Christopher's. It had been a long day, and it was late. They were both tired and climbed into their beds and went to sleep. The next morning, Christopher woke up to Charlie licking his face and chewing on his hair. Christopher's loud giggles could be heard by his dad in the kitchen. They were both so happy to be together playing on the bed. After breakfast, Christopher's dad said, "Let's introduce Charlie to the rest of the family." They walked outside to the yard with Charlie following. Charlie stopped when he realized there were a row of dogs looking at him through the fence. He was scared and not sure who they all were. Christopher picked Charlie up and walked into the big yard that all the dogs were in. He introduced Charlie to his new family. Clifford, Kelly, Digger, and Misty were happy to meet Charlie. It was not long before Charlie was running and playing in the yard with his new friends and having fun. It was time for Christopher to get ready to go to school, so Charlie would stay with his dad and his new friends. The bus pulled up to the house, and Christopher quickly hugged and kissed Charlie and told him he would see him after school. Christopher could hardly wait for school to be over and to get home and see Charlie. He had hoped Charlie had a good day. When the bus pulled up, Charlie could see Christopher walking towards him. He began jumping and barking as if to say hello. Christopher ran to Charlie and hugged him. He had missed Christopher and was happy to see him. Christopher and Charlie played into the evening. Christopher showed him all around the woods and the fields that were now his new home. It was time to go to bed. Christopher had climbed into bed and Charlie slowly went to his. Christopher could see Charlie looking at him from the bed. Christopher knew what he wanted and smiled at Charlie as he tapped his hand on the bed. Charlie quickly leaped on the bed beside Christopher, where they went to sleep together, sharing the bed. Charlie couldn't wait for their next adventure together. Thank you for watching Deystudio art videos. Please subscribe, like, and share, and we'll see you next time.